Yeah, let's see it.
Alrighty, so game 3 of Liquibition episode number 27, JF versus F91, it's all even at 1-1 apiece, and here we go. Here we have JF in green at 6 o'clock at the bottom of the map, and we have F91 in orange at 12 o'clock. And miraculously, F91 is scouting towards his opponent yet again. It's very difficult on these two-player maps, isn't it, Red?
That is amazing. And F91 does get the advantage of being able to move his larva towards the left side of his hatchery, which is always a nice thing to have. And I think the only option JF here has of cheesing is some kind of proxy double gateway in the middle of the map. But if we don't see that, then I think we're going to see hopefully a pretty standard game.
No, I don't expect JF to cheese. It's not really like him. He does timing pushes, but all-out cheeses, very, very unlikely. I mean, he did it once against Horror on Azalea, but it's Azalea. That's kind of understandable.
True, that map is horrible PVT, and it does look like he's fast expanding, just like expected, making his pylon on 8 supply, positioning it just right so he can make a nice wall in against Zerglings. And F91 has again made his Overlord first, so no cheese from him it seems. Maybe he's going for the overpool, but we'll see. He is putting down a pool right now. It will be interesting to see if he's going to get gas or if he's going to stay with the slow speedlings, slow lings. There is the option of mining out the mineral patch in the Protoss main from the back, and there are some options for some pretty cheesy builds that way.
Yeah, in that way, this matchup's kind of imbalanced. I mean, Protoss really can't do that effectively because probes miss when they mine up that hill. So really, mining those minerals is really limited to Zerg and Terran doing it. And the other day, I had that done to me by a Terran player, which kind of annoyed me. But I don't see F91 doing that at all. I see him playing a relatively standard game.
Yeah, F91 didn't get his gas, so it looks like he's just going to go for the slowling fast expansion type build. And on top of that, I don't think it would work against an experienced player like JF. He's probably faced that backdoor link thing like a million times, and Protoss can just make a cannon in the main and pretty much be totally fine against it. So this is probably a good choice by F91.
And JF has just managed to stall F91's expansion for quite a while actually, by damaging the drone and annoying it so it couldn't place the hatchery. And he's actually putting down a mana pylon, so that expansion is going to be delayed even longer. We can see here that F91 is actually up to about 500 minerals now, so that hatchery is very late indeed. And so yeah, I mean, JF is doing a great job of stalling, but he has lost his probe now, so all the information is now gone. However, he's added his 2 cannons and his Nexus in his natural, as expected, and a gateway should be going down shortly, and that will form quite a nice wall there. It will be interesting to see if F91 actually bothers to try do a run-by there. I mean, that's a pretty good wall.
I think this wall is 100% link tight, so as soon as that second cannon finishes, I think a run-by with slow speedlings would be ineffective, but here we go. The second cannon is not done, and he is going to run by. There's a probe on the ramp, but he's deciding to attack the cannon, and he is not taking it down, but he's running into the main and gets 4 lings into Protoss base, 3 lings now. That is a pretty big deal. These lings are going to be extremely annoying, and they kill 1 probe, and now they're just going to continue harassing.
Yeah, now, the important thing here for F91 is to keep those 3 lings alive, because each ling you lose makes your harass that much less effective. Keeping 3 lings alive allows you to really snipe probes at a really effective rate, and being cut down to 2 means that your harass is really limited in that way, as you've got to be much more wary of probes. And so F91 is just going to be sitting around here content to annoy JF as much as he can, and really limit the number of mineral patches that he has to mine.
Yeah, basically what he wants to do is he wants to move in and just make JF send all his probes to 1 mineral patch and then pull out his links just before they are about to engage, so JF keeps losing mining time, and F91 is doing a pretty good job of that. Even though he's not killing any probes, JF has had to move his probes to 1 patch to attack numerous times, and here goes another probe, and now the Zealot is finally coming in, and looks like it will clean up these links.
Ouch, losing that 1 ling is actually going to be very critical for this harass. I mean, now they really can't effectively harass probes. I mean, that Zergling's down to 1 more hit off the Zealot. So, I mean, you know, he's got to keep these other two Lings alive as best he can, and oh, he's lost another one. Oh no. Okay, now best situation here for now F91 is to keep that Ling alive as long as you possibly can and see exactly what the Protoss is doing, and that way at least even though he doesn't have an Overlord in the main, he will be able to see what JF is up to. And JF is adding a Stargate, and that's going to be very useful to know for F91. Meanwhile, F91 has put his 4th hatchery in his natural, and he is, in doing so, has actually done one of the most annoying things I see Zerg users do on this map. I really think Zerg users should be putting their 4th hatchery at that mineral-only expansion. I mean, I don't see any reason why they don't. I mean, maybe you can enlighten me on that.
Well, I can see your point, but the thing is that if you do put it down there, I don't think you're gonna have enough drones to keep all 4 bases perfectly saturated for quite a while. So then, as an effect, one of your hatcheries is really far away, and if you do need to produce units and you need them in the battle directly, it's a bad thing to have a hatchery there at the start of the game. I think it might be because they just want to take that expansion when they actually can't put enough drones on each of their bases to make it worth it, and when they feel like they don't need to hatchery closer to where most likely the action is going to take place.
Oh, that's very interesting, and well, that pretty much silences me on that issue. That's a quite valid point and good stuff. So yeah, that Ling is still alive, and it has seen JF put down a Citadel of a Dune, and so I guess he knows that Templars are going to follow very shortly, and JF is adding a 4th cannon in his natural. I guess he's a bit wary of F91 doing some kind of Hydralis build at this stage, because he doesn't have that much information, but this Corsair should be able to change things.
Yeah, it doesn't look like F91 is going to get mutas. He didn't get his 2nd gas. He's still on 1 gas, and he's just adding hatcheries. He's up to 5 hatcheries right now. One of them just morphing, and it looks like he's just going to scourge the Sarah and switch to the Hydralisk build that's been extremely popular recently.
Yeah,
and JF is just getting some scouting done right now.
Yeah, JF is adding some cannons in his main in preparation for Mutalisk, but I think now that he's seen the Scourges, he will cancel probably both of them, maybe one of them. So yeah, those Scourges are in a great position, those 2 at the front, and they should be able to get that Corsair, and oh no! Great micro by JF. I mean, those Scourges really got cheated out of a kill there. They aren't going to be able to catch that Corsair in time, and no, they do not. They are forced to go home. Still alive, sadly.
The thing here is that when JF flew to F91's natural, he saw about 4 or 5 eggs being morphed, but these eggs were actually drones, but considering the timing, it was likely that JF just assumed that it was going to be mutas, and that's why he made 2 cannons. That's rather unfortunate for him.
Oh, he actually cancelled one of the cannons, so I guess he kind of gets half of that back, I guess. In the meantime, JF is adding another 5 gateways, so he's getting ready to go into full Zealot Templar production mode.
Yeah, it looks like JF is just going to make a strong mid-game push, maybe Archon Templar with Zealots. And it will be interesting to see how he's going to do against this 5-hatch Hydra build with the 1-0 upgrade for the 1 range upgrade.
That's an interesting point. I mean, how effective do you think that +1 range is against Zealots, given that Protoss usually don't upgrade their armor?
Well, it's only 1 damage, so I guess you can say it doesn't do that much, but when you have as many Hydras as these people seem to make, then I guess it all adds up, and it does make a difference. I'm not sure about the exact mathematics of the whole thing. I've never been too much of a theory crafter to really get into that, but I guess it just makes sense to me that when you have that many Hydras, that it does help.
As far as I know, I think upgrading +1 takes 1 hit off a Zealot. I may that's probably
1 less hit.
On shield time. 1 less hit, yeah.
Well, then it's probably a really big deal.
Yeah, probably. But we'll see how it turns out. Especially if F91 keeps up these Hydralisks and Lurkers, progresses into Lurkers, I mean, then that range upgrade's really going to pay off in the long term against these Protoss units, which aren't going to be getting any armor upgrades.
I'm kind of worried for JF right now because he still hasn't got Storm, and he has decided to take his turret with just 2 Archons and no Storm at all, and his storm is just starting right now, and F91 has been massing Hydras, so I think these Hydras are just gonna clean up whatever JF has right now without storm. He really needs Templars to be able to deal with this mass Hydra.
Yeah, I mean, JF's third expansion has now been stored for quite a while. I mean, we're almost up to the 10-minute mark in this game, and I mean, you really want to have that third expansion before that. At least F91 is still on 3 base himself, but still, JF really does need to get that third up as soon as he possibly can. In the meantime, JF is indeed adding some more Templars into the mix, and F91 is indeed making some Mutalisks, and I expect him to be able to be using those to snipe, as you alluded to earlier in this match.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting to see how well F91 is going to be able to control these metas to snipe Templars, because JF does have 2 Archons and he does have 1 Corsair, so if F91 is not careful, then he's able to lose those metas rather quickly. But if it does work out the way it should work out, and he does kill the JF's Templars, then this mass of upgraded Hydras is going to just steamroll JF in the mid game.
Yeah, before this impending battle takes place, which should happen any second now by the looks of it, JF actually lost his building probe at his third base, so his third expansion isn't even building yet. I mean, that's very, very late. And here we go, we got the Mutalisks coming in, and they snipe one of the Templar, 2 Templar! Oh no, the Templar's still alive, but however, it's wasted both of its storms, so I mean, that Templar is basically useless. Those Mutalisks are doing a great job, and now F91 is moving into position with those Hydralisks, and oh wow, that was very, very bad for JF right there.
Yeah, we can just really see just how strong this Zerg build is against Protoss. It takes perfect advantage of like all the timings. You get the Hydras against the Zealot Archon. As soon as they add the High Templars, you switch to Mutas, and you take out the High Templars with snipes, and then just overrun the Protoss. It's just a really, really good build. And I'm not sure if you've seen, but JF did make a gateway on the top of the map. And there's a big fight going on right now. JF's trying to storm the Hydras, but there's just too many, and he's only got 1 High Templar, and he's just now getting picked off by Mutas. And JF has to be really worried about not getting overrun at his natural right now.
And here we go, we've got 2 storms left. Oh, 1 huge storm! That is a monster storm! Oh, that's another one! Brilliant storming there by JF. I think that may just be enough to force F91 to go away. Oh, wow. It just really goes to show how much difference a few storms can make if they're not killed off by Mutalisks. We see now that JF is indeed still trying to take his third base, and we're about 12.5 minutes into this game. I mean, that third base is very, very late. That proxy that JF was trying to do up at 12 o'clock has been scouted by an Overlord Hydralisk, and I don't think that that's going to be able to do much damage at all. Oh, wait, that F91's top right mineral only expansion is just about to die for these Dark Templar. It'll be interesting to see if that Overlord gets there in time. And yes, the Hydralisk will get there in time with 3 hits left on that hatchery. That was very close to F91, but I guess at the end of the day, as long as it's standing, that's all that matters. Oh! In the meantime, JF has tried to break out, and it looks like he doesn't have any observers to counter these lurkers. Oh, that's absolutely terrible.
Yeah, he didn't have any observers, and F91 got lurkers at just the right time to almost project JF into his base, but he had to break out, because if he doesn't, then he's just going to be stuck at these bridges forever while F91 can take the map. So I think he did the right thing by trying to break out, but unfortunately he lost his High Templars and a lot of units.
Yeah, the fact that JF isn't able to maintain a decent High Templar count is really going to hurt him, because it seems like F91 is in fact going to go for a Hydralisk lurker mid-game. And really, against Hydralisks, you really want as much storm as you can possibly get. And yeah, JF is rebuilding a number of High Templar now. But F91 does have a very impressive army of lurkers and Hydralisks. And where are the observers? There's no observers, and F91 has moved out and attacking that small army of JF that moved out. And here's the observer finally, but it's too late, and F91 is going to be able to beat down JF and force him back into his natural. I mean, that means that JF's third base isn't going to be able to be saturated with probes for still quite a long time. And we're getting into really like late game territory, like 15-minute mark here, and that if third expansion isn't up yet.
Yeah, this was a huge deal. The fact that JF didn't have any Templars really hurt him right there, because F91 could just burrow his lurkers, not worry about storm, and with the 2 upgrade for his range, I mean, that Hydra Lurker army is just gonna eat up the Zealot Goon combination like crazy. And he really needed it to as well, because as you can see, he has not gotten a Carapace upgrade, and the only thing he has upgraded is range, so he really needed to damage right there to not be behind on upgrades in the late game, but lucky for him he did, and he looks to be in great position right now.
Well, F91 is double grading at the moment. He does have his Carapace about 70% done now, and so he should be able to counter that +2 rather effectively, because at least the +1 on those units isn't as bad for Zergs, seeing as he's not Zergling heavy. And here we go, oh, F91 trying to take out that third base, but there are far too many cannons there, and I guess he's going to have to send over some more units.
Jeff is moving around the back side of the map, realizing that he is contained at the bridges, and it's just going to be hell trying to break out, so he's trying to move across the left side of the map to, I guess, try and retake the middle, or maybe go into F91 side of the map, but it would make sense if he would try to break this contain from the left side, but it doesn't look like he has enough units and enough Templars to do anything against this mass of Hydra Lurker. It's just, F91 just has so many units right now. He's macroing so well.
I mean, F91's got great positioning there on the other side of the bridges. That's going to make any attack by JF very difficult to have. And here, in fact, JF is going to have to retreat. F91 is dominating him here. He's got great positioning, great macro. And he's got his 5th base online, a 6th base building. I mean, he's taking the map and making that 3rd base of JF as useless as it possibly can be.
Yeah, he's doing everything right this game. He's really performing this build to its maximum potential, and he's got the hive, the defiler mine is going down, he's got the cracklings, he's got the army advantage, and he's just right now taking down JF's 3rd base while engaging the army. There's some nice storms right there, lots of hydras going down. It looks like JF will win this battle, but at the same time F91 has broken the 3rd base, all the cannons are down, and he's just taking down a few probes that are there right now, and I think the economic advantage and the hive tech will just be too much for JF to handle right now, and he's gonna get overwhelmed.
Yeah, I mean, that late 3rd base has really hurt JF a lot. Oh, one lurker is able to get some shots off at the Templar and is actually able to kill one. Poor JF. Oh, here come the cracklings. They're coming in and they're doing a bit of Templar sniping of their own. I mean, the ability of F91 to keep the high Templar count down this game has been absolutely phenomenal and has been central to his advantage that he's attained here. I mean, keeping that high Templar count down has just been so pivotal to the development of this game.
Yeah, he just really states here that yes, I am a micro player, because the micro we've seen this game has just been of a really high level, and he's been doing a really good job with his army control.
Yeah, and we can see now that JF has finally got a workable 3rd base online in the bottom left, but 18 minutes into the game is quite a bit too late, I'm afraid, and I don't think that's going to have very much bearing on the game at all.
Now, as you can see, JF's main is mined out. His army consists basically of only a bunch of goons. His natural is going to be mined out in a couple of minutes, and meanwhile F91 is on about 6 bases right now with the hive tech going, and I really don't think there's anything JF is going to do.
Yeah, I mean, JF is trying to take his, what is it, 10 o'clock? No, 8 o'clock base there now, and F91 has scouted the bottom left base there, so I mean, F91 knows that they're there, and I'm sure he'll be starting to move some units into that area very, very quickly to dispose of that.
Yeah, basically F91 can send all his units right now with the A command, and he will pretty much win this game. There's nothing JF can do. He just doesn't have the minerals to macro up another army that can compete with the Zerg.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like we had a bit of a pause there. Yeah, but the one thing working in JF's favor finally is that he does have quite a few number of High Templar right now. I mean, he's got about 6 or 7 storms on those High Templar. Though that said, it'll just make for some pretty fireworks before he pretty much gets destroyed.
Looks like he's trying to clear up these lurkers in front of his base right now, and he's doing a pretty good job because of his goons, and the lurkers aren't supported by anything, but F91 is pulling back to his expansion and will burrow up to this ramp. In the meantime, he is countering the left side of the map with Hydras and Lings. He's taking out these cannons on the left side. Looks like JF isn't going to try to save that and try to attack the middle of the map, and I think this is going to be the deciding battle of the game coming up very soon.
Yeah, well, okay, so JF is doing everything he possibly can right now. I mean, he's countering for everything he's got. His units are quite out of position, though, and here come the storms. There's 1, 2, 3... Oh, that's actually doing more damage with Zealots than any other unit. Oh, and now he's lost his observers, and those lurkers are just raping those High Templar. Oh, those storms could have been so much more effective if he had had the time to do it. But anyway, there's the GG! F91 takes a series lead of 2-1. Wow, a very, very impressive game by F91 there.
Yeah, that was just perfect play. I mean, I love seeing that Zerg build in action, and he did it pretty much to perfection. It was great to watch, and it totally picked apart JF there, and he really had no chance that game at all. It was like F91 was one step ahead of JF the whole time.
Yeah, and I mean, there are a few key points which I just really want to emphasize because they were just so amazing. I mean, first of all was F91's ability to get those Mutalisks out and snipe off those 2 Templar with relative ease. It was beautiful to watch, and it had a significant bearing on the course of the game, because without Storm, JF did not have a chance in hell of defending any kind of significant Hydra push. The second thing which I want to point out is the fact that F91 really kept JF onto base for the vast majority of that game, and really without 3 bases, you can't really fight a Zerg on 4 or even 5 bases at all. And so the fact that F91 was able to keep him on 2 bases, and when the third was up, prevent any probe transfer to that base, that just pounded his advantage and turned it into an insurmountable economic lead.
Yep, and some people will say that map is imbalanced ZVP because it is so hard for Protoss to get to third base, and once Zerg get lurkers on the bridges, it's really hard for Protoss to break out. And we have also seen that Protoss has lost most games on that map in the pro scene lately, so maybe on the next map, Blue Storm, where Protoss is slightly favored, maybe JF will be able to do better.
Yeah, I mean, Blue Storm has kind of an anti-Zerg, a pro-Zerg stigma about it, but in reality, if you check the stats on the last version of Blue Storm and the last part of Pro League, yeah, really, it's been largely Protoss favored. I mean, Protoss win rate has actually gone up to about 66% in this match, which is quite staggering, really, when you consider that Zerg was at a similar level a few months prior to that. I would really expect to see JF playing a relatively standard game, opening up fast expansion, and then F91 responding probably either a speed lane or just a regular slow lane pressure to force JF to build some cannons. And from there, I expect to see a relatively long, drawn-out game, because Blue Storm tends to favor those kinds of games. So, without further ado, I think we should get this game on the roll. So, this is Liquibition episode number 27, Game 4 on Blue Storm, F91 with a 2-1 advantage over JF.